If you don't go live, Facebook kick you off.
Oh, okay.
Let me add Cam again. Cam, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Sorry about that.
Make sure you talk close to your mic because you do waver the mic.
I don't get overexcited, you mean? Okay,
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Everybody can hear me properly?
Yeah, I can hear you. Do we like that format or should we change the format? Is that better? Yeah, it's better, isn't it?
Yeah, that you can see better there.
Yeah. Let me move Nico to the left because he likes being on the left, doesn't he? Is that better for you, Nico?
Yeah, it's whatever. No problem.
We're live here.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Spurs 95.1 live stream. We've got Nico in Norway and we've got live and uncut. We've got Cam in Florida. So we thought we'd better do a live stream because a lot of people are saying, why don't you do any live streams? We want to talk to you guys. So, everybody, when you get a chance, just join in. And let's go over to Nico because I haven't heard what Nico's got to say. What's your thoughts after the debacle of the North London derby, Nico?
Yeah, that match or the one against Mura?
Yeah, we could talk about the North London derby, then we talk about Mura.
Yeah, it was pathetic from start to finish. I think I was so shocked with especially the first goal, the way the midfield just didn't care about tracking back. I had to watch it again to see if I actually saw Højbjerg just jogging back. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So yeah, it was just a terrible match. So yeah, I try to forget it. But
what about Mura? What did you think about Mura? And then I'll come to you, Cam.
It's a match that it doesn't matter if we win it. We don't get any answers from that match.
No,
we could win like 7-0. So because it's like what is this, like 3,000 people at their stadium? They're like so we don't know anything. We didn't knew before this match against that team. So I was watching Kane net the hat trick, but I was thinking I wasn't happy. I was like, Villa was on my mind.
Yep.
The only match I'm thinking about.
Cam, your thoughts on NS Mura?
Well, let's take the positives first. I think when you've got a striker who hasn't scored yet or is really bad, playing badly and missing things, to get a hat-trick, whoever it's against, he's going to have to do something good for the confidence. So it's good to see Kane get back on the score sheet. Let's see if he can now translate that or move it into the Premier League. And maybe it might mean that maybe he's over his little sulking period and his little tantrum. He seemed to be pretty happy. I saw him pick up that game ball at the end. I mean, if you take that game ball and just like threw it aside and said, I really don't care about this hat trick, I think that would have really shown how what was going on in the back of his mind. But he seemed to pick it up and he seemed to be quite happy. So I'd say that's a positive. Negatives, there were many, many negatives. I hear what Nico says, that you can't really take anything from this game. But really, you can, because Doherty lost the ball 11 times against Mura. He couldn't he only put in 3 crosses, 2 of which were wayward. He put in 3 challenges. I mean, his level of play against Enes Mura was so disappointing that it's unbelievable. I mean, you would have thought that if you're at what level you're at, you would have shown something. I mean, apart from the first few minutes where Delhi looked like he was half alive, he got another penalty where he loves it. He does his favorite thing, which is fall over goalkeepers, because doesn't seem to be able to get anything else any other way. He was awful. I thought, again, a really, really, really poor performance against a team where you would think, you know what, I can hide my flaws by actually playing well against this team that don't even know how to play. Well, really, like I was saying to you, Ray, are probably at the level of Peterborough or Blackpool right now. That's the level that they're at. They're not championship level. They will definitely be below that. And I found it incredible that we have a number of players that still couldn't raise their game against Enes Mura. That's got to tell you a lot. It must do. It must say a lot about the fact that he had to. 1 minute, Nico.
Yeah,
he had to bring on Kane's son at half time to bring the game around. What does that tell you?
Nico, I mean, Cam's right, isn't he? We should be able to beat this team with a second string 11.
Yeah, but Yeah, but we know what we get from Winks, Doherty, but there is a dilemma because they don't play together. We can say what we want, but it's a team game. So no matter what, when they play one match every second month, or I'm just taking a number, but they don't play together. So they don't have the relations. We know this is football. It works like this. You have to play together regularly to get the chemistry. I'm not defending them. I'm just saying, and so it means that you don't get the flow of football. They don't get any rhythm. I'm just trying to provide some perspective to what
Sure. No, I understand
Ray
that,
is
yeah.
saying. I totally agree. They're terrible players and everything, but then and this striker Scarlett also 17 years old, and he won't get any time in the Premier League. So he gets one match like every month or so. So how is he supposed to make a difference if he doesn't get any time in the league? And also, is there anything to suggest that he is a Premier League quality player? I don't think so.
Not yet.
So,
Too young.
I mean,
No.
if we get our viewers and all that, tell us what you think. Do you think Nuno's time's up? I mean, he gave a interview with the BT Sport, and that was did you see that?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a disgraceful interview.
Yeah.
Really, he didn't answer the questions. Yeah, go ahead, Nico. What's your thoughts on that interview?
He looks afraid.
Yeah,
the guy looks way out of his depth, and it's boring. It's predictable. He doesn't say anything in the press conferences. He actually looks. I was watching him in the North London derby, and he looked afraid. You know, one thing is to get it wrong from the start, but you have to. At least Mourinho, he did changes immediately when he did some mistakes. He admitted it also. He could say, like with Eric Dyer, my fault. Like, okay, that was one time, but Nuno, he was just freeze. Like, what am I gonna do? So the guy looks way out of his depth. I think a bit too big job for him. I think.
Cam,
So.
do you agree with that? Is it too big a job for him?
Well, I mean, you know my views on Nuno and what's going on. I think the problem that we've got here with Nuno is it's that he's so disjointed. He doesn't seem to, none of us mind losing. We accept that we're going to lose a lot of games. We got a new manager in. I mean, if you've taken all of these players out and put in the young players, right, who went for it, showed the passion, tried really hard to work out there, right, we would have probably have taken a loss anyway against anybody because we could see something is being developed. We could see something is being nurtured. We can see the grassroots being put in place. What do you see with Nuno? What do you actually see? You see nothing. You see no progress. You see backwards. Nobody can say, yeah, give him time because I can actually see that something is coming. I can see that, these players are maturing. They're beginning to learn to play together. Just like you were saying earlier, Nico, they've been playing together. We can see, I don't see anything. That is what my problem is. I don't see anything that gives me any kind of indication that in any way is going to get better. And that is where the problem lies.
And they're damaged players also, like at least Winks. He's so lost. He doesn't know what he's good at. He doesn't know his role. He never gets any flow. So why not use youngsters in this competition? We know what we get from these fringe players. Why not use some talent and also give them some time? I'm thinking about Pochettino when he came in. He rinsed out Kapua, I think was the first, and he put Mason in to put down the marker. Like, you have to show work ethic. That was the first thing he did. And then you could see, as Cam said, you could see something like what he was trying to do. With Nuno, I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, but the thing is that interview, Nico, clearly a guy who don't know what he's doing because he can't even answer the questions. So we can't even answer basic questions. I mean, what the hell is he saying to the players on the pitch? We can't communicate basically in 5 sentences. Yes, this, about anything. This is, he's completely lost. Now, I think the other thing is we do attack Winks and we're going to attack the players. And there are some players that really have let us down badly. But it's so easy to hide in this team because everybody's bad. You can be a bad player and get away with it because, we can sit here and we can pick on anybody. But who's good? in the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also-
Take out
and
Son,
also-
take out maybe more. Who's good in the team? It's easy to hide in that. I could hide in that team.
Yeah, and also I think I was thinking to myself here, just walking in my apartment, I was thinking about the togetherness, the energy. I don't think these players are socializing. They're together. I don't see the unity there on the pitch. I don't think it's outside the pitch. You need to have this unity to want to fight for each other. We have a fractured squad. We have this. I'm not going to swear. I was so almost exploding here, but Kane. He doesn't want to be there. He drags down the rest of the team. We don't have the chemistry between Son and Kane anymore, which we had last season under Mourinho. At least we had that. Now we don't have that either. So how the hell is he supposed to turn this around?
And the other thing is that, we've had a lot of promise from a lot of players, right? I think we need to talk about this. A lot of promise from a lot of players. So let's say, take Lo Celso, 27 million or whatever it was, to this date has not lived up to his expectations. Looks like a different player than what we looked at in what do you call it, against Argentina. When he played Argentina, looked a lot better with Messi. But here, he's never lived up to his expectations. Likes to limp off. I mean, he's gone. I mean, I don't want to pick on my favorite hateful players like Ndombele and Dele. What about the rest of them? Has Bergwijn lived up to his expectation? No. Has Lo Celso lived up to his expectation? No. I mean, you got a team which is really, like I said, it's a team where players come to hide, take a big wage and come to hide.
Let me challenge you on that. So, who is making the decisions to buy all these players like Lo Celso and Ndombele, all these Bergwijn that you saying are not doing well for Tottenham? Whose fault is that then? Is our strategy for recruitment wrong? Are we getting the wrong players?
You've got five players for one position, and none of them are any good at it.
What are you talking about? Right back, are you, or what?
No, I'm talking about a creative midfield player.
Who is that creative midfielder?
Oh, exactly. But we've got Lo Celso should have been. Dele could have been, never was. And Ndombele was supposed to be. And then we've got Bergwijn, God knows. And then we've got Brian Gill is supposed to be. You've got five players who are no good at one position. I think Gill, of all of them, has got the most potential. And actually, the only one I would say that is actually really looks like he's trying, got the passion, runs around, technically gifted, totally different from all the rest of them. So, it's a massive error in recruitment. Yeah. You could see it, Ray. I can see it.
I've given up on Lo Celso because he's not a winger, clearly, and he doesn't dominate when he gets a chance centrally.
But Nico, a lot of people, the fans are saying when you play him in a number 10 position, this is his best position, then he can deliver. Spain, what do you think about that?
In Spain, where the football is more technical, it's not that physical. He gets... I saw some runs also, he doesn't get his head up when he runs. He just runs into blind alleys. And I'm thinking this guy's playing with Messi. He's supposed to have close control and, he has a good center of gravity, but I don't see the football brain. But I know, is it because he's not integrated in the environment, in the football team? Is it injuries? There's only questions with Spurs. There's no answers.
Yeah. He makes Lamela look like a really fit player because he's always injured. Apparently, he's injured again.
He's also injured again, is he?
He's injured again. He hobbles off. He probably looked at that team.
It must be in his contract, Cam, that he's injured every 2 or 3 weeks. But he has to have that.
There is a big issue here that if you don't want to play in this team, you don't want to play in this system, and you don't want to be associated with this, then injury is a blessing. Right now, for a Tottenham player, an injury is a blessing. They can get out, hold their hands up. Hey, that wasn't me. Get me out of here.
I was actually thinking that when Steven Bergwijn was injured, the moment he got injured, I don't remember,
he started smiling.
Yeah, it was something. I just got this vibe like he's
laughing. He was,
he's happy.
I'm injured.
Yeah, I got that vibe actually, and I thought to myself, maybe they are actually thinking that because they're not buying into Nuno and the team. And it can be like, I'm protecting myself. It's crazy to say it. But
I think Nico brings up a really good point, Cam. There's no camaraderie in that team. They're not fighting for each other. They don't feel like a unit. No. And there's lots of newspaper reports that they don't like Nuno's style of management. He's very sort of standoffish. He's not very, inclusive and etc. like that. So Cam, I mean, he's technically he's not proved himself. Man management wise, he's struggling as well. I mean, what should we do with this guy, Cam?
Well, right now, you know what it feels like? It feels like there's one seat left on the lifeboat. All the rest of the team's on the Titanic, and the one who gets injured gets that seat. Why waves everybody else goodbye? This is great. I finally got that. I'm on that. I'm safe.
Yeah.
And that is what the problem is, because what you get in this situation is what we want to see. If I was a manager and I haven't got the technical skills or the abilities that these people have, but I would be going ape. I'd be going ape on the TV. I'd be showing some passion like we are here. I'd be showing something, saying, Nuno is giving answers that absolutely don't even make sense in any language. Forget about in English.
So basically, let's just tell our viewers, basically, somebody asked the question, why Kane and Son are not playing? And he says, they can't play everybody can't play. That was his answer. Everybody can't play. He wasn't giving a proper answer, was he, Nico?
Every player is important. Every player. We need every player.
That's what he says, yeah. Nico, you do a good. You could do a good Nuno. You could become a Nuno.
Yeah, the first matches I was actually a bit like,
You got the beard for it. I don't think you need any other qualification.
Yeah, he got. I was a bit actually. I got swayed into being a bit impressed at the start of the season, because he was so composed. You view things different when you win a match. But, it all depends if you win or lose the match. And I was thinking, he's so reflected and composed. But now I'm sick and tired of it already.
Yeah. Take us into one of you, take us into the 9 of Nuno. You win your first 3 games, 1-0. Yeah. Okay, a couple of games were lucky wins, but that's fine. You won the games. And then you change your winning team, you drop Skip, and then blah, 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 etc. Why would you do that? Cam, go into the mind of Nuno and tell us why he did that.
I think there's 2 things here. One thing that happened very clearly, the first game, they all came out fresh, they came out hard, and they pressed. They pressed like a Mourinho team. They pressed high. I mean, not Mourinho, sorry, a Pochettino team. They pressed up high. I think the only thing I can say is Nuno did not manage that team. He let them loose to see how they would play. And there was some freedom in that team. That's what we saw. Then every game we saw that rain back a bit. We knew we might have won 3 games. We had Watford and we had some easy games. And it's Wolves where the old manager going back, winning the game against that. And that was a lucky win. Normally, you get that win. But my problem was, in the mind of Nuno, one of the things in those first 3 games everybody noticed was that there was no willingness or cohesiveness to the attack. And I didn't believe that he understood how these players can transition into attack. And we knew it was going to be a problem. So he focused on defense, seemed to work well, seemed to work pretty good. And everyone said, he's going to build up from the back, and we're going to go forward. So in the next games, he suddenly realized that I don't know how to get these guys to attack. So he dismantled the defense, and basically did nothing about the midfield or the attack. And the whole team fell to pieces. And that's happened in the last 5-6 games. We've conceded now, including the Mora game that we've had. Again, NS Mora, we've conceded 14 goals in 6 games. And I don't believe that he's actually understood how to actually structure the team. Like I said last time, Ray, it feels to me like there are 3 teams in his mind. There's a couple of guys at the back, a couple of guys in midfield don't know what they're doing, and throw a few guys at the front and just hope it will work. And that's all I can see in the mind of Nuno. How about you, Nico? But that's what I see.
Yeah, because for me the thing was, I remember he said early in the season that there was a lot of work to do. Still after victories, he said, a lot of work still to do. It was very composed and everything. But when I saw that Arsenal match, I was really depressed, because I was thinking to myself, a leader like Højbjerg and Kane, if you see the big picture, players don't actually showing any emotion whatsoever, and just being ran over by our rivals, doing nothing. Even when Son scored that goal, he had to try to drag them. Come on, and no response. And then I'm
Nico,
just
let me ask you a question, Nico. How much of a team is actually playing for the manager? How much is that part of what you do? Is it a big part of it, or is it a small part of it? How much is it you want to win for the manager?
obviously it's a lot with the manager. We can say it's about the badge, but it's always about the manager. Like you have to believe in the manager. That's the way the structure works. And obviously they're not fighting for him, because the Arsenal match, we got so many answers in that match, because there was nobody. Yeah, okay, Skip. He actually stepped up when he came on in the second half. So he did a decent, he had decent work rate and everything. But apart from that, I didn't see anything from Son. Might be a bit, but I don't know about they're not buying into his philosophy. They're not working hard. So we had the lowest metrics also of all the teams according to this.
Yeah, I heard a metric that we've run the least of all the players, 1.8 kilometers per person.
Yeah, in a derby, in a London derby.
I'd like to answer that question, Ray.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so you said, do we play for the manager or don't we play for the manager?
Well, how much of a team's performance is to win
absolutely
for the
very important question. It's not just about the team; it's about work. Everyone who works, Nico works, I work, you work. We've all been in a job, and it feels very much like that. I'll be given. I'll go to work. My job is to paint a house. I've been given a paintbrush, and he says, "Go and paint this wall." And I say, go back to him and say, "That wall's not been plastered yet, or the plaster's not dry. How am I supposed to paint this wall?" And then he says, "Well, hold on to the brush there." And then says someone else, "Well, when are you going to do that?" No, you start doing the plaster. So suddenly I'm left and I have absolutely no idea. Should I paint it? Should I plaster? Should I do this? Or what should I do? So when you create that level of confusion, nobody knows what they're doing. And we've all worked with people like that have left, given you mixed signals, given you 3 things that you're supposed to do. And when you don't do them, they say you don't, because all 3 of those things are conflicting. So you're set up to fail. Now, the people that succeed in those environments are those that like to hide, because then I'll just go in and say, I don't really give a crap. I'll just paint the bare wall. I don't care about the plaster. I'll just do that. Yeah. And this is what a lot of the players are doing. And this is why it's not about playing for the manager. The manager is supposed to give us direction and some cohesion. And what we've got is no direction, no cohesion. And you're standing there with a paintbrush without any idea what you're supposed to do with it. And that's just basic communication and basic lack of simple instructions.
Yeah, but you can also say it's no direction from top.
Yeah. Everybody knows what
But Nico, this is a question from Brazil Spurs. Are we going to be fighting relegation this season?
Well, it's the metrics is relegation stats. So right now we can say yes. So we will get maybe some more answers next match against Villa.
Look, guys,
well, hello, Brazil Spurs. It's good to have you on board. Thanks for watching. But yes, I think the stats are very bad, the XG stats. And I heard people in the press saying with Norwich, we're probably the worst team in the league at the moment. So unless things pick up quickly, Cam, we could be down the bottom area, I think.
Well, I mean, highlights from Brazil. What I'd like to say is very clearly that no team's good enough to stay up. Any team can be relegated. There's no one's got a God-given right to be in the Premier League. If you don't play, you're out. And on this performance, of course, we're definitely going down. It's not even we've got, we will, because there's one big thing. If you can all look back to Sheffield United, Derby before that, the other teams that went down, one of the biggest issues they had is they could not crack the goal scoring thing. They didn't have to score goals. They have the lowest goal scoring thing. If you can't, right now, Tottenham, who has been a free-flowing team in all our time, whoever's been manager, one thing we probably would have sat back and said, where we may not have too much of a problem is getting on the score sheet. In fact, we let in too many at the back. Okay, but we knew how to score. Right now, 6 Premier League games, 4 goals, right? 3 from Son, 1 a penalty. That's got to be some kind of record too. So my concern is that if we carry on with Nuno as it is, we really got to seriously consider where we're going. But I was reading something that Paul Merson said on Sky Sports today or yesterday, and I know that him being an Arsenal fan, he made it very clear. He said, one thing you can say about Daniel Levy is he knows his stuff. This guy loses tomorrow, he's out. He ain't going to put up for too long. He will not hold on for too long.
Yeah, and also we know creation, it comes from being happy. You need to be happy to create something. You need to
Absolutely.
because it's a game. It's supposed to be a fun game.
Yeah.
And if it's no positivity and there's no unity in the team, they're not going to create. You saw it also very clearly in the Arsenal match. They just push the ball. No, you take it. They're hiding, as you said, Cam. And then it's very hard to create if you don't have that flow. You have that good vibe, mojo feeling. You don't create.
But Nico, do you think Nuno's lost and I'll come to you, Cam, after this. You can chime in if you want. Has he lost the dressing room already? Are they not playing for him after only 6 games? They said, we're not going to play for you.
I don't know if he had it.
Yeah, he may not have had it in the first place.
Very good point.
I mean, the thing is, that's an excellent point, because the thing is, we know he was 6th, 7th, 8th choice. The players must know he was 6th, 7th, 8th choice. So, maybe you're right, Nico. He never had it in the first place. This guy probably thought, well, he's only going to be here for a few weeks and then he's going to be gone.
Right. So, look, I'm going to go back to I manage my own business. I got a business, and I know one thing's very, very clear, that if I get a staff member who I decide I'm going to pay a lot more than the others, and that staff member really doesn't do very much, all my other staff are going to think, well, why the hell am I busting a gut? Why the hell am I doing that? So, exactly. And I'm going to bring that and then everything starts to fall to pieces. And I got to go around and try and placate them and explain to them, why am I giving this person so much more money when they're not even doing anything? And you're sitting around and expecting to deliver when they're not supposed to. And I'll go back to my favorite player, Ndombele, on $250,000 a week, delivering absolutely nothing. And then you're asking me to sit here and say Højbjerg, Skip, and all the others have got to start delivering on 50, 20, 30,000 a week, when this guy's sitting there, does absolutely nothing for the team. Yes, you've lost it. And this comes back to the ownership. That guy, if he wasn't delivering, needed to be out. So on this point, I'm going to have to be on Nuno's side and say he just inherited what has to be a major shit show, where people are being paid this sort of money and not expected to deliver anything, and they didn't get rid of him. And I mean, it's going to destroy. You told me, Nico, I don't know where you work, but if you went to work and a guy sat next to you with his feet up all day and was running 3 times as much as you, and you were expected to do the job for less, what would you do?
No, I work in the health sector, in the floor. Directly with patients, and
you'd be pretty pissed off.
Exactly. There's no room for people that.
A couple of questions there from Harrison here. Thank you, Harrison. Thanks for joining the stream. Who's next after Nuno? And the second question is, why did we pay so much for Ndombele? So why don't you take the first one, Nico? Who's next after Nuno? If Nuno does go and if things don't improve, who are we going to get in? And please don't say Ryan Mason. You're not allowed to say Ryan Mason, okay?
That was actually the first name I was thinking about.
You're not allowed to say Ryan Mason.
No, but the problem is Daniel Levy goes out and says we're going back to the Tottenham DNA, and who's it going to be? And then he chooses Nuno. He doesn't have the Tottenham DNA.
Well, he didn't choose him. Apparently, Paratici chose him. So
yeah, I think that was interesting that Fonseca leaked that information. I actually believe that, and they went for a more defensive manager, and that tells me a lot. That tells me also that the club doesn't want to invest in attacking players. It's more expensive, so they want to use what we got. They want to save money. That's Enoch basically, and so Fonseca, I don't know if he would have been the right choice, but he plays attacking football. Front foot football, but Nuno doesn't do that, so they probably got desperate. They tried a lot of names after Levy out with that message, Tottenham DNA, and we're going to invest in the team, and they were searching for, and maybe they got no from Nagelsmann or several other good candidates, and then when it was it 70 days without a manager or something, and then they had to appoint somebody. And then they, please take the job, or something like that.
I think it was a case of, just take it. We need to appoint somebody. But Cam, who are we going to get after Nuno? I mean,
I want to answer both those questions.
Answer those questions for Harrison. That's really good questions, actually.
All right. So I mean, the way that what Tottenham, I sincerely believe But Daniel Levy will this time have had somebody lined up like he did for Pochettino when he got rid of him and had Mourinho lined up. The two people I think in England that they're probably looking at is the Southampton manager, Hassan Hurtel, and potentially the Brighton manager that we're going back for. I mean, those are the sort of people that we would go for. I think that there is absolutely no way on earth that we could go back with our embarrassment and ask Carlos Fonseca, whatever his name is, to come.
Paulo Fonseca.
Get Carlos to come back. It ain't going to happen because it's just too embarrassing. But, worse things have happened. The other point I want to make is why did we pay so much for Ndombele? It's not even the fact that we overpaid for Ndombele because we've got probably hyped on our own success in the Champions League, and we had a 50 million or whatever it was, 75 million pound windfall from being in the final, and we blew it on Ndombele, who was a 5th division player who had one good division for Lyon and that was it. The problem is, if we also gave him a 5-6 year contract on £250,000 a week, the same amount as Harry Kane. The guy won't get a contract for Northampton, let alone bloody Tottenham. So what would you do? I am in Ndombele now. I don't give a crap, man. This is 5 years making money. That's £1 million a month. 12 months, 12 million times 5. That's 60 million pounds. I'm going to sit back and take that 60 million pounds and be made for life. I don't even have to play football. So we've got ourselves into a situation.
So Nico, do you want to come in there?
Get out of.
Yeah, Cam. I'm just baffled by the decision because we just by googling the guy, I saw people saying he had a bad attitude, didn't train hard. What the hell is our scouting department doing? Why can't they get this easy information right? How is it possible to not do the research, like the character? You have to see the whole picture with the player, right? The character and the technical, the physical, everything. And if I can do like 5 minutes football manager scouting and see that, no, we need dedicated players, we need work rate, and they can be creative. And then we just, I don't get it. How are we so incompetent in the scouting department? It's so important because that we're stuck with so many problems in the squad. Not only the players we're not getting out from before, like Winks, but we're actually buying new problems.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, but let's put the other point of view. Ndombele had a couple of screaming matches against Man City for Lille. I don't know who he was playing for, a French team, where he played really well. They beat Man City 2-1 home and away, I think. So that was part of it, and he got really rave reviews. I remember all the Tottenham fans saying, we must get this player. We got to get him in. He's a new Dembele, blah, blah, blah. All this big hype and all that. We go and buy him, and then he's just like a shower.
French League.
Hold on, right. Does that mean because this guy for Sheriff scored a cracking goal against Real Madrid, we should go and buy him because he scored the goal of his lifetime. He'll probably never ever score again.
Who was that? No, hold on, Cam. Who was the scout? I love that. Stevie Wonder's head of our scouting department. That's a nice one to 12. But who is the scout? Was it Pochettino who approved it, or who actually went out and got Ndombele?
We don't
Sorry?
know.
We don't. It was under Pochettino's watch. The thing that I think Ndombele's got many records, but his best record is going to be the manager killer. He's killed Pochettino.
Well, did he really
kill
Mourinho?
I mean, I love the fact that the only person who wants to sign him now is Mourinho, apparently, if you read the rumours. Mourinho wants him out there. That's hilarious.
I don't think we're going to get Europa League, guys, Harrison. I think we're going to finish 9th or 10th if we're doing well.
Let's hope we can stave off relegation, Harrison. Forget about Europa League.
But listen, this is too much focus on Ndombele. I mean, the other players have to step up to the plate and actually produce. So, come on, guys, tell me which other players are not doing what they should do.
Dele
Alli, let's talk about Dele Alli. Come on.
Heard about flogging a dead horse. We had a couple of good seasons. He was very good, but it's been 3 seasons now, and every season he's actually getting worse. And, everyone has tried to bring the guy back. He's getting back. He's coming forward. It's not happening for him at Tottenham. It's never going to happen for him at Tottenham. He just cannot play that football. I don't know where he is, but for me, he's got to drop down a division and he may start feeling comfortable and get his confidence back. But he is no longer a Tottenham player in my eyes, and I don't think he should ever play again. That's my
So
view.
why shouldn't Nico? Why didn't we let him go on loan to PSG when Pochettino wanted him? Why is Levy doing all this rubbish stuff and keeping him here?
Some people say that he has a very good rapport with some of the players, Levy. So they're actually undermining the managers. I don't know, maybe. But he's a Finnish player. I agree with Cam. We can't always hope. He's a Finnish player. He's not going to get the edge back that he had when he came to Tottenham. He was hungry. He was on the edge. He had something to prove. He doesn't have that anymore. So unless
And
we
Nico,
get...
is it a fair comment that on the 16-17 season when he played really well, he had Eriksen and Kane at his top form and Son? They sort of made it really easy for him, so he looked better than he really is. Is that valid or not, Nico?
I think Eriksen was a huge part of making the team tick because he was so good for us. I don't think we know the extent of how good he was connecting Kane, Ali, and Son. He's a master player. He was a master player, and he worked hard. He was I don't think we'll get that sort of a player.
Yeah, and the worst thing, hold on, Cam, 1 second. The worst thing is about Eriksen, it wasn't about the money with him. He wasn't interested in money. He just wanted to play for a winning team, and we couldn't win anything.
Okay, I think the big issue for me, guys, is and that's been happening for the last couple of years, is that we buy these players. We bought a number of big players. I mean, and this season is a good example. Last season as well with Lo Celso and some of the others that came in, and we just don't play them. We put them on the bench, and we stick with all these old players that if they were that good, then why did we have to sign anybody? And I mean, the reason why I personally have turned against Nuno is he leaves the best defender in Serie A on the bench. He leaves your Barcelona right back on the bench. He leaves a technically gifted player from Seville in Gil on the bench. He leaves Skip, who was the best player in Norwich when they won the championship, on the bench, and plays the players that nobody wants to play. I mean, in a team like that, I mean, it's just, like I said, my 5-year-old granddaughter.
Hold on, Ken. I want to get to some of the questions from the viewers. So Harrison's asked another question. Versus Mura, we have to rely on Kane, Son, and Mura. Why can't we do it without them? Nico, why can't we do anything without Kane, Son, and Mura?
They're not good enough.
The players are not good. Yeah, the standing players are not good enough, Harrison.
I just have something to say about this Royal, Emerson Royal.
Yeah.
I have to ask you a question. Is he better than Aurier? Do you think he's going to be a better player? I have to say...
It's too early to say. We haven't seen enough of him, I think.
I know,
Nico, or have you seen enough of him to say he's not as good?
Why didn't we buy Tomiyasu? Why didn't we?
I don't know.
Him the whole summer. I watched him against us. I see a player which have he looks very dedicated. He can play in the 3 and the 4. He has a good work rate, great mentality. I think we chose the wrong right back.
Maybe, Nico, but the fact is we don't play them. We buy them and don't play them until they lose form, they lose fitness, and then we put them in, and then they get injured. Lo Celso, great example. It's going to happen again. Last season we did that with a number of players. We actually got players on loan and sent them back without playing them. I mean, this team, it's the way that they are. It's what it strikes to me is of a business which is failing, and in its last throws before the receiver's coming in to remove the furniture, you go out there and think, I've got a bit of money in the bank, I better go and spend it on something. I don't know. I'll go out and buy myself I fill my trolley with a load of sausages from Sainsbury's because what the hell? That's all I got to do something.
Listen, guys, I mean, how much the peak from us was a 16-17 team. We nearly won the league, blah, blah, blah. How worse is this team than that 16-17 team? Nico?
No,
and then I'll come to you, Cam.
You can't compare it because we had unity, we had a direction, we had a very, very good manager, a very single-minded. He was clear with what the goal was. So you can't compare it. We have a dead squad. We have a manager looks out of his depth. And, of course, we have the same owner. So this is nowhere near. It's the opposite of what we had.
So with 16-17 team was the best we've seen in a long time. We still couldn't win anything. So with the worst team and worst manager, we got no chance, have we, Cam, of anything, doing anything?
And again, I'm going to go back to the point I've been hammering or harping on about, and that is you bring in these players and you don't play them. I mean, it's like me employing someone on the most expensive money that I've got and then telling them to stay at home and I'll carry on paying them. I mean, my business would be dead. I wouldn't have a business if I did that.
Can that be...
On paper, if you put Romero in and gave him a run, if we let Emerson play where he needs to play, if we had Gill and got him fit, now apparently he's not heavy enough, so that's why we're not playing him because he's too fit. Maybe he needs to be more unfit. If we gave some of these players the time, I think that there is a good team somewhere in there, but this management structure, from Nuno all the way to the coaches and everybody else, because it's not just Nuno on his own, there's a whole load of coaches that all need to be looked at because they are not getting anything that they can out of this team.
But I just have something to say there, Cam. I got this flashback from Pochettino. I remember him also using a lot of time to bed in new signings because the league is very hard compared to where they came from. Can also, not to defend Nuno a bit, it can also be that he wants to buy them in, use a bit of time with the fitness, because it's a very big step up for these players coming from another league. I think that's a point, actually.
That's a good point, Nico, but it's a very Tottenham point because none of the other teams seem to have this problem. They can bring in all these players from abroad, they can bet them in, and they're going in there and they're whacking in the goals. They're all betting in, because they've got a good solid base. What we've got is desperation. What Tottenham right now, to me, smell of, and if I was any of the other teams, anybody else, what I would be smelling is a dead rat dying, and to see what you can pick off from it. Because the only thing coming out of Tottenham right now is not aspiration, it's not glory, it's not winning, it's a stink of desperation.
It's not desperation either, because then they tried. They're not trying.
They're not even trying. Yeah, okay. I think Harrison's right. Eriksson, absolutely 100% agree with you. Eriksson left because we weren't good enough, and it proves it. He went to Inter and won the Serie A title, so it proves that he made the right decision then.
We were never good enough. Right, I'm coming back to your question of 2016, 2017, and the only thing that everybody that we know agree on, you know what it is that the Pochettino got a team to overachieve with the sort of money that they had. There is no team that has done what Pochettino did in those 3 years that he was at his top with the amount of resources and the money that they had. So now, then he burnt himself out. He burnt those players out, and there was just nowhere to go after that.
He needed replenishing, like you said. The house needed new furniture, and Levy didn't back him. Isn't that right, Nico?
And Levy's not really backing anybody, and we haven't got a manager that can do that. So what you're asking for right now, what we're asking for, and this is where teams like Brighton and stuff are successful with their managers, because their aspiration is to maybe get top 10, but stay in the Premier League and stay there all the time. So they don't give him many resources. So he's got this ability to bring in younger players and to keep them where they are. They're never going to win anything. They're not going to get into Europe. They don't care. What we're asking for is to have the same budget of a Brighton or a Southampton or whatever and expect to be top 4 every year. Well, finally it's come home to roost. The chickens have come home to roost, and we've now got exactly what we deserve. And what did we say against NS Mura, Nico? What we said was we are now playing somebody
at
the level where we are supposed to be.
We were at the right level, actually.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Even I think Europa League is too high for us at the moment.
Too high. And I think once we get to the knockout of this league, the Conference League will be out.
Yeah, I agree. Nico, what about this? Question from Pop. Sick of counter-attacking football. Just get a manager that can play attacking football. What do you think, Nico?
Well, I think for starters, if you want to play something more progressive or more possession-based, you need the players for it. And you need a manager who knows how to put the team together to play like that. So we're not doing that. We have Nuno. We knew what he was about when we got him. It was counter-attack. And we also don't have invested in the right type of players to play attacking football. So we have to give the blame to the whole structure. It's the whole club that's falling apart.
So are we being a bit harsh on Nuno because he's got rubbish players and you expect him to play an attacking brand of football?
and like
Even if he wanted to, he can't, can he?
Look, what I said to you, and you said to me, if he had done basic homework, I mean, look, no one thinks Arteta is the best manager. Arsenal weren't doing very well. They still can't defend. They still can't do anything. And manager, this is a man who looked like he didn't do any homework in that game. He didn't do anything. The spaces that he basically said, you poor things, Arsenal, you poor players, you're doing so badly. I tell you what, I'll remove my midfield. Why don't you attack us and see if that will help get your confidence up? Because it didn't look like to me a manager who wanted to win or knew how to win or how to structure a team. Exactly. That's the problem. What Pop said is a very good point about counter-attacking football. And I totally agree in that sense that, look, we as Spurs fans are not saying we want a manager come in and year in, year out win the Premier League. What we want, we'll take relegation if we could see fight, we can see spirit, we can see improvement, we can see them giving their all on the field, we can see some blood, sweat and tears. I can pull my head up and say, you know what, we got thrashed 7-0 by Arsenal, but every single one of those players went out there and did their best. We lost 3-1,
so Nico,
crap.
So Nico, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
This Pochettino's last few days, they threw in the towel. For Mourinho, they threw in the towel. They're throwing in for Nuno as well. Why don't we just get rid of every single player and just get a whole road new players in?
But the squad has so many damaged players, like the psychological part. They have changed managers. It's as Cam said, they're hiding. It's a game within the game to stay. At the club and just survive. It's not fighting for the badge or the supporters or anything. They're a fraction squad. As I said, I don't believe there's the unity there. I don't see that, because if you saw that, you would have seen it on the pitch. It's very simple. It's a team game. It's about unity. It's about passion, drive, vision. You have to go in the same direction.
But I want to ask a question. I want to ask a question, and then we'll come to the Brazil Spurs. But players like Matt Doherty, all right, he's been absolute pile of whatever since he's joined. But when he played for Wolves, he scored 7 goals. He's one of the most best attacking right backs in the Premier League, playing in a back five. What has happened to him since he's come to Spurs? I mean, do we take players and make them really bad? And Ndombele, we brought him and we've made him really bad. Is there a curse on this club?
Why do we buy him? We don't play in the 5.
Yeah, but Nuno sold him. Nuno didn't want him, so Nuno sold him.
Yeah, well, the point is, right? Again, this is Tottenham, isn't it? Because what we do is we look at we don't look inside. We just look. We judge a book by its cover. We see 1 or 2 good things here and there. Everyone gets excited and they buy it. Now, you made a very good point, and I think Sir 12 makes a good point. Everybody makes a good point, but Nico made a good point about the passion and the players. I mean, the only player this season that has shown any passion about the club, about anything, about his own career and had any dignity, right, was actually Serge Aurier, who tore up his own contract and walked away. I mean, these guys are just saying, I don't give a damn about the club.
Yeah.
Just give me the money. Just give me the money. This guy thought, albeit he might have thought he was too good for us or whatever, but at least he had something about him that made him do that. Show me any other players now that have got anything about them. Show that they actually give a damn about anything apart from their weekly paycheck.
Yeah, they're all in fact. So, Nico, what about Sir 12's point? It all comes down to Enek's bad management. Levy still wanted unreal sum for stadium naming rights, for demanded 40 million for Winks, refused to play 25 for Grealish. So is Enek and Daniel Levy to blame for everything here?
I have something to say there, because I was thinking we have this brand new stadium, and that is a great decision by the club, by the way. They got that right. The stadium is brilliant. It's beautiful. But they use it for so many stuff now. It's concerts, it's boxing matches, it's NFL, it's all the different kinds of sports and entertainment. And I wonder if that is the profile of Enek, and maybe they will expand to something more. So they will get money, tons of money, and that is their goal. to increase the value of the brand. And the football is just a charade. It's Tottenham. It's ENIC Hotspur. It's not.
It's
Tottenham.
ENIC FC, really, isn't it? It's ENIC FC.
Exactly.
We should call it ENIC FC. What about Hayan Hassan? Welcome, Hayan, to the stream. Do you think we should try a back five? It seems to work for Chelsea. Cam, what do you think? Should we try a back five?
I think you put Romero, put Sanchez, put Dyer at the back, and push them up. As long as it's not Doherty, I think that it would work better for us, because I'm very concerned about Reguilon's ability to defend. I'm actually now concerned about his ability. I mean, there's a great example of bringing in a player with so much promise, who looked so good, so much so that the only reason Real Madrid sold him to us was so they could put a buyback clause into his contract, right? And we brought him to Spurs. Can you see them coming back with that buyback clause right now? No, because we made him a worse player.
Exactly.
We made him a worse player.
We made him worse player. So should we go for a back five or not, Cam?
I think we should. I think because the Reguilon can't defend. So I'd rather those three at the back, because I think that Romero, could be a really good, solid signing for us. Look, there's no doubt that Romero and Skip in the team would have made a difference against Arsenal. I do not believe if you had Skip there, because once Skip came on, it did change the game, that they would have been able to score those goals. They may have got 3, they may have got 9, but they wouldn't have had that space, and they would have had to work a lot harder for it, right? So I think that if anything will improve the team if we can get something through to Nuno's head. My biggest problem, again, going back to Nuno, is he don't listen. He's very stubborn. You don't communicate. You don't communicate with the press. Don't communicate with anybody. We don't know what's going on, and we don't believe that anyone knows what he actually wants. What does he want? Do they want a defensive team? Do they want an attacking team?
I don't think he knows what he wants. But Pop raises a good point, Nico. I want you to go on that. I want the players to win the second ball, ambition, go back to fundamentals, like Jose Mourinho once said. When you saw the North London derby, all the second balls were being won by Arsenal. So what's going on there, Nick? Is there any ambition? Do they really care for this team or not?
Because you saw also Nuno, he didn't show any passion. He was just afraid. He was standing there almost crying.
And the players take their lead from the manager. If they see the manager without a clue, they're going to say, "Well, we can't do anything either."
Oh, Nico, you're wrong.
Okay, well, let's just Nico.
I want to make this one point to him. Nico, they're really wrong, because one thing was missing from Nuno. All he needed was a comb, so he could comb his beard when he was standing on the sideline, because that's all he was doing. That's all he was doing. All he needed. Someone should have run up and had him a comb. And there you go. Now get on with it. Because that's the only thing that seemed to interest him in the whole game.
Just want to say, I agree with the 5-3-2, because then it will suit the squad better. 3 central defenders, 2 wing backs. That is, we have, of course, they can attack better than defend. And then also we can have Skip, Højbjerg, maybe also we can use, I'm just pragmatic here, Winks and Dombele. Maybe they work correctly. No, I'm just saying, because just listen,
Cam, you're paying him $250,000, you can't just not do anything.
And then we can use Lo Celso behind the striker.
Yeah, number 10.
It makes more sense to me to have the 5-3-2 as a formation.
Pop is saying, bro, this team has ruined my weekend for 3. Yep, Pop, we're in the same boat, mate. It's ruined our weekend.
A few more weekends get ruined,
I think you're going to get a few more weekends like that, mate. So, and I'm not. We'll talk about Villa later, but I'm not confident about Villa. We got a question from Silence here. Welcome, Silence. Thanks for joining the stream. What players should we get in the winter window to improve our midfield, and who should we sell? I'll give that one to Nico first. Who should we get in the winter window, and who should we sell?
But that's one issue, but we have to get first the direction. We have to get the fight in the squad. We have to get the first things first. We have to have everybody on board. Doesn't matter if you buy whatever. We have to get the right direction. It starts with the guys at the top. They have to set out, like we did with Pochettino, that we had a direction, we had a project. Remember? It was like, I didn't like the word project, but they had something to aim for. And they had a direction. We don't have any direction. And we employed the wrong manager for what Levy says is our DNA. So it's...
Can I pick up that point?
You pick that one up. Then I've got another question from Harrison for you, but you take this one.
I'll pick this one up because I think it's a really good point. And Silence, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I think the first person we sell is Harry Kane. I think
I
that,
agree with that.
weekly we're probably losing about 5 million on his valuation. We'll be lucky to get 60 now. Take what you can. We have to get rid of Ndombele, and we should send Dele out at least on loan, and maybe get rid of Winks too. Well, who we should bring in? We all know we need a creative midfielder, and if we don't get a creative midfielder, we're not going to be anything. We're going to need
Who would you
another
bring in?
striker
Give us a name, Cam. Who are you going to bring in?
as a creative midfielder.
Yep.
Everybody that I would mention or we would want to be bringing in as a creative midfielder doesn't want to come. Tottenham. I mean, the problem is let's look at it this way. We were after Adama Traore. Guess what? As soon as he found out Tottenham were after him, he's now open talks on a new contract at Wolves. The guy that from Vlahovic from Fiorentina, we were after him. He's now desperate to sign a new contract to stay at Fiorentina.
Lautaro Martinez, who we were after, he signed a new contract. I mean, maybe people just using Tottenham.
So what I'm going to say,
new contract.
Silence, is that I don't know who it is right now. But I think we've got a couple of months. But if we cannot bring anybody in until we shift those players, because there's one player out there who's putting his heart and soul right now into the team, and that's Son, and probably a bit of help from Mora. Right? How long do you think they're going to carry on doing that? Once this whole team around them is falling to pieces. This guy just signed a 5-year contract. We need to make a decision, build our team around Son, and accept that Kane's now in yesteryear. Thank him for his service. Get what you can and move on.
What are we going to get for Kane, Nico, if we sell him in January, Nico, and then I'll ask you, Cam.
Yeah, obviously it's a bad decision. Not if you love somebody, set them free, right? We didn't do that. Levy wanted to show how big his was, and then it all went down from there. So it's decreased the value. Of course it has now. So we're stuck with a problem instead of a resource, basically. So and also who's going to pay the asking price for
Dele Alli? I think that's a great point, Nico. I mean, Cam, it's easy for you to say, "I'll get rid of Ndombele." Who's going to pay 250k a week? Who's going to pay 60 million? Nobody in this right mind is going to do that. He's stuck with us. You can't get rid of. If you're asking 40 million for Harry Winks, nobody's going to pay that. So you're stuck. So basically, I think you need a strategy is how you work with these players, because it's going to be very difficult to get rid of them.
You know what needs to be sold, don't you? You know what needs to be sold, guys. The club. The club needs to be sold to somebody.
We'll talk about that later.
Who wants to invest it. That's what really needs to be sold.
But Cam, take this question from Harrison. At the start of last season, this season we have been top of the league for 3 games and we went drop down. How come when Poch was in the office we were consistent? So where's the consistency gone that we had with Poch? Where's that gone now?
Well, I think, Harrison, there's one thing to say. We've played so far, I think under Nuno, we played about 10 games and we played one very good game, and that was the first game against City. Our home record against City is actually very good, and so the stats were in our favour when it came to playing City at home. And it was his first game, and every manager usually has the first game bounce. He didn't have the baggage of Harry Kane being in the team, because Harry Kane was still out. I think he wasn't even back yet, or he had only just got back a day or two before then, and that whole saga was yet to unfold. Since then, the last 2 games, the ones against Watford and the one against Wolves, I think were flukes. I think we were very lucky. We got a penalty early on against Wolves. Wolves could have had about 4 or 5 goals in that game. Watford could have easily have come back and probably have won it, and it could have gone either way. So with those 3 wins and some bad results for some of our rivals who have now put them all right, that being City, that being Chelsea, that being Liverpool and United, we are where we are. We found ourselves as a fluke at the top of the table. But really, if you look at possession, if you look at the stats at the running and the number of attacks that we've made and the number of chances that we've created, then, on that basis, we are basically should be in the bottom 4 teams in the Premier League. And basically, we're headed that way. Tottenham had a good Nuno is where he is with those 9 points because he's had a lot of good luck, I believe, in the first 3 games. But in this league, there's no such thing as luck. It's all about skill. You can only ride it for so long, and I think he's ridden his luck all the way out of White Hart Lane.
Nico, why don't you answer this question from Pop? What's your thoughts on Frank Kessie and Sandro Tonali from AC Milan? Nico, any thoughts? Do you know those players?
Yeah, I know them. Kessie is very hardworking, very physical. He's a destroyer kind of player. So a bit interesting. And Tonali is more. He's a deep lying playmaker. He's a deep line playmaker. This Tonali, and that was the guy I actually tried to remember on a former video chat we had. He is a very interesting player, so that could be an interesting. But that's all down to the scouting. What is Enoch gonna pay, and seems too ambitious, to be honest with you, in terms of.
Kessie ain't coming to Spurs. He's going to Chelsea if he's going anywhere. Why would he come to Spurs? For what? I mean, this is Tottenham. This is Tottenham. The best player that we probably signed this season, Matej or whatever, who's doing great work in France, we loaned back. I mean, because we're such a strong team that we can afford to sign these players and loan them back, because obviously we're doing so great in the league. We suddenly think we're Manchester City and Chelsea. So it's a delusions of grandeur that this club has got. Is now, you've all heard the phrase "the emperor's got no clothes," right? Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, not only he's got no clothes in this case, he isn't even wearing underwear.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gil's got a 5-year contract, Harrison. But if we keep playing as rubbish as we are, who in their right mind is going to want to stay here? I mean, Gil's not going to be happy playing in a team mid-table. He played. According to Cam, and I didn't watch it, he played really well for Spain in the Olympics. He's an up-and-coming winger. He wants to be playing in the Champions League. He's not going to hang around, is he?
He gave up the Champions League to come here.
But
crazy. I don't know why he did that. Crazy.
Next match is huge. The Villa match is such
Okay, let's come on to Villa now. I mean, Nico, Villa, I think, have done really well. I mean, they were unlucky to lose to Chelsea, although they lost 3-0, but they had chances to take the lead. Yeah. They beat Man United away. What's going to happen on Sunday against Villa?
The way we lost to Arsenal makes that match actually a deciding match for Nuno. I think.
Do you think if he loses that game, he's gone?
Yeah, because the manner of the defeat was so bad against Arsenal that if we see something even close to similar against Villa, it's over.
So I want to turn the question on his
Cam, 1 second. I want
to ask a different question.
I want to ask Nico one question. If we play really well against Villa and we attack and, they just play better than us and we win a good game, do you think it's still gone, or do you think he might get more time then?
I think we need at least 1 point, and we also need to see work rates and effort.
Okay. Yeah, I think they need to see whether he can motivate the players, Cam. Sorry, go ahead.
You need to ask a totally different question. And I know we're going to be controversial here. You said we're unplugged. So my question to you is, do we want to win against Villa? Do you want us to win?
I mean, I'm a Tottenham fan. I always want... No, hold on. Okay, I always want us to win every game, but I know you want us to lose so Nuno gets fired, yeah?
Well, I'm not saying that I want us to lose. I want us to win every game as well. But I want to ask this controversial question. We are where we are and what we are. So, Nico, since you're the only one who hasn't answered it, and he's put me on the spot, let's ask you this. Do you want us to win like we did, say, against Wolves, with a 1-0, like we did against it with a bit of luck, and ponder on and plonk on just like this until the international break? Or do you want us to lose 6-0 and be over with and start making, start for something different? You tell me, Ray. Honest answer.
No, I've gone to Nico. I always want Tottenham to win. I never want Tottenham to lose a match. I know you do, but I don't.
No, I didn't say that I did. That's wrong of you to say that.
No, okay, fine. I'll take it back. But you're not a fan of Nuno. But Nico, go ahead.
I want to know what you think. What our listeners think.
So hold on. Let's Nico talk. Go ahead, Nico.
Yeah, that's yes for me. I will always want us to win, regardless. Period.
Good answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But let's ask all the guys watching. I mean, Harrison, Pop, what do you guys think? Do you want us to lose on Sunday so we finally get rid of Nuno, or do you want us to win so that he can maybe get some momentum going? What do you think?
Of course I want us to win, so don't say that I don't. But
no, but the thing is,
it'd be interesting to see.
See, my problem is that even if Nuno goes, I don't think it solves anything, because you're not going to get a top manager coming to Tottenham because, one, there's not many available, and two, they don't want to work with Levy. You're probably going to get Ryan Mason again till the end of the season, who's just going to pay his mates and not really do anything. What is the value in just getting rid of Nuno unless he picks it up and starts? Give him some time to actually build something, Cam.
Look, what we said right from the beginning is that we would give everybody all the time. We could be bottom of the
100% agree with that,
table
Pop.
if they cared. If we saw some the roots, we saw some grassroots, some green shoots coming up where we could believe in something. There is absolutely nothing to believe in with Nuno. You give me one positive, and I'll hold on to that, and I'll take that forward till the end of the season. Give me a positive. Give me something to hold on to. There's nothing. Go on.
No, but we need to bring into the discussion Ryan Mason. Sorry. I'm going to ask you guys a question. Which style of play did you prefer, Mason or Nuno?
Mason.
Yeah.
It's obviously Mason because it was more attacking, but
Yeah.
I think Pop's right. The board's not going to sack him because there's nobody available to come in. And if he does, they don't want to come. Conte won't come to Tottenham. Yeah. Brian Potter. I 100% agree with you, Pop. There's nobody there that wants to come to Tottenham.
Pop, you could manage Tottenham better than Nuno.
Pop,
at least you get something out of them.
Forward. But Harrison is saying he wants us to win, which is great, but he also wants Nuno to lose. So I don't know what their answer is there. I'm not sure how.
That's a good question.
I mean, Harrison, who do you want? Harrison, who do you want to come in as manager? If we get rid of Nuno, who do you want to come in? But while you're thinking about that, Cam, what do you think is going to happen against Villa? Do you think we're going to win it, or what's going to happen?
I think that a home record against Villa is very good. Villa's got a very poor record at Hart Lane. I think they've won a game in 12.
Well, they won last season.
Did they? Oh, yeah. Maybe they did. Yeah. Okay, I take that back. But if he leaves, who will come?
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Cam.
My problem is that they're on a high, we're on a low. And, if you ever wanted to play Tottenham at this time, this is the time to do it. But I've got a feeling that with Harry Kane scoring those 3 goals and getting back in there, and if Nuno can see simple sense, you played like we said, play your top good players, stop messing around with the team, and get skip back in, get Højbjerg back in, maybe have a back 5 like we said, and get some attacking minded players with Son on there and with Moura, even in Moura, Son, and Kane up front. We got a very good chance to win.
But I'm just going to interact with you there. He had to learn a valuable lesson against Arsenal, never to play Ali and Ndombele together. He's never going to do that.
And if he hasn't learned that lesson, I want to sack him myself.
Exactly. So he's going to go with Skip and Højbjerg. We know that. We just know.
But Nico, let me ask you a question. I need to ask this question of Nico because he's an expert in formations. He played a back 5 and he played a really good back 5 at Wolves because they were decent team. They had a back 3, they had Bolly, Cody and somebody else, and they had Doherty and somebody else on the left-hand side. Why doesn't he play a back 5 at Tottenham?
I think it's also a bit about the pressure because you come to Tottenham and you're supposed to play a certain brand of football. Whilst in Wolves, it was like, just the name, Wolves, the fighting, the brand, everything. And he gets more, it's a bit more low-key club. So I think he feels the pressure to play attacking. Levy says, we're going to go back to our DNA. So he gets conflicted. He gets conflicted on how he's going to play. And he gets pressured. And he sees the record of all our former manager. He sees the slope and the players are throwing him under the bus and everything. So I think when you come to Tottenham, you need to be brave and actually play on the front foot, or else you're finished.
I think the DNA stands for do not attack. I think, yeah.
Yeah. So,
what do you think about that? Give it to Ledley King. I'm not sure that's going to be a good option. Ledley has not got his coaching badges. What do you think, Cam? Sorry, Nico.
Well, I think very clearly 2 things. When I'm going to say this is I think Ledley would be a much more preferable. I think when Nico says that Levy says we're going to go back to our DNA, the last thing on the list of about 5,000 managers at the bottom would be Nuno Espirito Santos when it comes to talking about Tottenham's DNA. So that in itself is a joke. But yeah, I'd give it to Ledley. I think that, like Pop says, we want to see attacking football, and we'll take the losses if that's what it means until we get it right. We can't carry on playing like this because you know what the problem is? You're not just losing us. We're not going to be sitting here hours and hours and then complaining and moaning about it all. But what's going to happen is that you start losing the fans. We've already seen this.
Yeah.
The fact that we can't fill the stadiums.
Well, there was 25,000 at the Europa Conference League, like 40% capacity, which is really bad.
Yes, and they can't give tickets away this Saturday against Villa. And, you know, one of the things that Tottenham were very good at under Pochettino years with the exciting games and stuff is we were attracting young kids to come and support Tottenham, right? Now, no one, all the young kids, they look at Tottenham, they see me with my top on, and they burst out laughing. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how do we go forward, guys? It's been all really depressing at the moment, but how do we go forward with this, Nico?
We changed the manager. Hope. I'm sorry, I'm going to go 100%.
But the thing is, you see,
I don't care what happens after that.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Cam. What did you say? I missed that. Sorry.
Change the manager.
To who?
Change the manager. I don't care who. Because
what do you mean you don't care who? So you get rid of Nuno and you get another defensive coach in.
But point is that you see my problem with Nuno, and I've said this to you before, is that he didn't do the very simple things, right? He committed some cardinal crimes here in some of the games against Arsenal, and like he says, any of us could do a better job than Nuno, because we would have any of us would have put a better team out. And the biggest concern I've got with Nuno here is the fact that he has no understanding with this team and this group of players of how to transition from defense to attack and how to use the midfield. I can't see it. I just don't. They're so disjointed that I don't believe that any manager can do worse.
But
that's my bottom line.
I have to challenge you a bit there, because he took the badge degrees. He's a former player. We're sitting here discussing the formations. Obviously, he has understanding about the game. So he knows how you build attacks, how to defend. He knows all the principles that we know.
Yeah.
Of course, he knows more about it than what we know. But no manager gets it right with Tottenham. So it's all... Yeah. So it's a hard job. We have to be honest. It's a very hard job when also the owner doesn't give you the right tools.
How hard is it to not play Dele and play Skip? How hard is it to put in somebody like Mora instead of Ndombele? Come on. How hard was it to know that before Arsenal scored a goal in 20 minutes, that they had about 9 chances, that there was so much room in the midfield? I mean, it wouldn't... How much... Even my 5-year-old granddaughter was screaming out, plug the midfield. God almighty, it weren't that hard.
There's too much of a gap between the defense and the midfield, so the transition, like you said, is just going to be difficult.
It's not that hard, Nico. That was baby stuff.
That's not about formation. It's just about lack of desire. They don't
baby stuff. Baby stuff.
Yeah.
I think are we done?
Bye, Pop. Yeah.
I'm going to wrap it up.
We're going to wrap it up in a minute, but guys, let's give some final thoughts and predictions for Aston Villa on Sunday. I'm going to come to Nico first, because Nico's always my positive guy. He's always looking on the glass half full. So Nico, give us something. Come on.
You say I'm positive. I'm digging deep here. I'm just going to go the opposite of opposite.
Give us a score.
Come on, guys. Come on. Spit it out.
Come on, Nico. Give us a score prediction.
I'm going to go the opposite way of Cam, because I know it's going to be negative. So I'm going to say that we get the draw. 1-1.
Okay, so what's the score? 1-1?
Yeah.
1-1 from Nico. I'm going to go next, because I'm going to leave Cam till last, because he deserves to be last. I think we are going to win 2-1. I'm going to give us a 2-1 win.
Jeez.
I think I think the guys will be up for it, and I think we'll win 2-1. Cam?
6-3 to Tottenham.
Oh, come on. Be serious, man. Come on.
No, we've got a really bad goal difference, and we need to change it around. You can't defend. Harry Kane's getting some goals. Son's so upset he's going to go out there, score a hat-trick. So is Carey. And we'll get 6, but we'll concede 3. But realistically, I was going to say 1-1-2. My concern is that Villa are attacking a lot better than they are defending. And they've got, and
I can't write that down. I'm writing that down.
I've got a feeling.
Write it down so we'll chat next week.
I got a feeling they're gonna nick it. They're gonna nick it. But they're gonna nick it. I'm gonna go 2-1 Villa.
Okay, I said 2-1 Spurs, he said 1-1, and he said 2-1 Villa. Everybody, thank you very much for watching the podcast. I really appreciate it, guys. We're going to try to do this on a regular basis every Friday night, have a chat about what happened before, what happens next week. and we'll have Nico and Cam on whenever they're available. So thank you, everybody, and we appreciate you joining. And we'll see you on the next podcast. So thank you, Cam.
Thank you from Florida, and goodbye from me. Come on, you Spurs.
And thank you, Nico.
Thanks both
Thanks,
of you.
guys.
Great show.
Guys.